here's your gel tank that you're given at lab. Carefully just kind of pull that up off of there, like that. And you have a couple things on the inside. You can take everything out. Here's your gel cones and your stoppers. There's this inside compartment in here, and you can take that out. And if you see on these rubber blocks, they have these sort of red ridges in them that you can use to put right onto your gel holder. So you should already have 40 milliliters of your TAE buffer into a flask like this. So you can get one of these on here and tare it and weigh out what would be the correct amount for 1.5% gel. So once you've put your agros into your flask, you kind of stir it like that, and we can put it in the microwave at this point. And the amount of time you're going to have it in the microwave will vary, so you have to keep an eye on it, but basically you just want the granules of the agros to be dissolved. After this step, it says in your protocol to add something called gel green, and it's really expensive, so we're just going to have your TA come around and do that part for you. And then after that, you want to make sure that you can let it cool until it's warm to your touch, but not so hot that you can't hold it in your hands. You're ready to pour, so you can have your two combs. The first one is going to be all the way down on the end there, and then your second comb is going to go right in the middle. Then you're ready to pour. So just pour carefully and as evenly as you can. Make sure there aren't any bubbles. If there are bubbles in your gel, just make sure that you can push them to the side with maybe a pipette tip. As long as they're not in the way of where your wells are, you should be okay. And so you just let that cool. We're going to use this strip of parafilm to mix our loading dye with our samples. We're going to start by getting some of our dye. Like the picture you see in your protocol, there's going to be 4 spots for each of your samples. Unscrew your lid first to make sure it's ready. Get your tip with your pipette set to 2 microliters, and watching carefully where you're pipetting, take 2 microliters out. Then from there, here's your first one. You're going to carefully squeeze out to the first stop, and then just gently just touch the paper. Then you can go in and get your following 3 for all the rest of your samples. Now that we have our 4 spots, we can dispose of our tips. And we're ready to load our sample onto the spots. We're going to pretend that this is our sample here. And with your P20, we're assuming that we're going to get about 10 microliters of sample. And again, watch very carefully where you're pipetting, and very carefully pipette your first sample onto your first dot. Now you're ready to load your sample, pretending that all these other ones are done. So first, you can kind of stir this up a bit by pipetting up and down, and carefully pipette all the rest of it up. And you can kind of hold your hand to balance yourself. You want to be very careful doing this. It's really easy to stab the gel, so try not to do that. Just make sure you can see what you're doing when you're doing it. So very slowly and gently place the tip in there, and then you push down to your first stop to load the sample, and then you can come back out.